Hello and welcome. This is Tyrell VA broadcasting live from the Vault in Our Stars, and we are doing a review after I have just played Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. Let me get some commentary on and going, so feel free to ask any questions about the game. No spoilers, however, though. But we do have 12 categories to run through. So here's the cover. It's got our main character on it, Miriam. She's also the lady I'm covering up right here. And she carries this giant-ass sword, which is able to be got in the game, I think twice, quite frankly. I think there's like the sword here that she's kind of wielding, and then you also get like familiars that can benefit you and follow you around in the game, and one of them is the sword, and I think it looks a lot like that, personally. I don't think it is that sword, but in the sword, you can see a guy that is kind of towards the whole storyline of the game is you and this guy, the guy in the sword, have survived a sacrifice thing, ritual, rather, and the ritual, you were the sacrifices for the ritual, along with a bunch of other people. This is not spoilers, once again. And she, our heroine here, was sick and couldn't go. And Jabel did go and was sacrificed, except he survived somehow. And is really irked about it. So he's pissed. Reading from the back of the book here, it includes fan favorite content, boss rush mode, lots of bosses, so different modes here, speedrun mode, boss mode, time modes, a game by Koji Igarashi. I didn't know this going in, and I actually probably found this out maybe 2 days ago. This game was made by, well, Koji Igarashi, but he worked on Castlevania, so this is actually kind of, not necessarily a ripoff of Castlevania, but a lot of the things that he added into Castlevania and the things that Castlevania is not necessarily known for, but people really like about it, aka the absorbing abilities, and I noticed the weapon usage also, and the platforming style. Koji Igarashi helped a lot with that, so when he left them for whatever reason, he started a Kickstarter for this game and put in a lot of those attributes into this game. So that is the background of that, which also leads us to our first category in scoring, marketing. This game gets 100 on marketing. I mean, the scores are 1 through 10, to start you off with that. 0 through 10. 0 being the lowest kind of punishment for playing, and 10 being a high marking, a classic, a must. I would say that this would probably be a 10, because it was literally a game that people had to pay for to get. They had to want it, they had to pay to make it be, and then pay to get it. I mean, that's pretty, that society created it in itself, so the marketing was there from the get-go. Whoa, squeaky. The graphics of the game, Now I get these two mixed up. Graphics and art. Graphics are more like the pixelation. It's a 2020 game. I mean, it looks pretty awesome. It doesn't run any weirdness, and they, as far as realism goes, it. Gosh, I always do this one wrong. I usually end up calling it the art one, so I'm trying really hard to make sure I'm staying on graphics. As far as graphics go, it doesn't look very realistic, but it looks like a comic book. I really like that aspect of it. If you see the background here... Oh shit. Oh, squishy.
I'll take care of it.
There's, like, good shadowing, and we got nothing more art. But she seems 3D from the background to me, and I appreciate that kind of aesthetic. It makes things pop up a little bit more when you're looking for secrets and figuring out where to go next. So I am going to give, graphic-wise, it's not like she looks like she's a real person or anything. I'll give her a 7. The art, I really enjoy the comic book stylings of it. I think the creatures can be a little bit similar. Like, there's like different stages of creatures. You have the level 1 versions of them, the level 5 versions of them, and the level 10 versions of them, just small, medium, and largest. And maybe it's the color that changes randomly, and that could be a little bit better. When she changes her clothes or like her inventory things, also doesn't change. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So it makes me wonder, if you have the graphics to do that, why wouldn't you do the art to get it done? So that's a little annoying, but otherwise, I mean, it's really pretty. The first boss you get to
strength you gain from it.
I thought the
is
I know my body's limits
gorgeous.
better
It's
than
like
anyone.
a Greek monster of some sort.
I'm going to need all the power I can.
And it really brings some fear on board.
You've done it before.
I
Don't do it
will
again.
say, for the art, I'm gonna give it an 8. As much as I like it, I don't think there was a time where I was awestrucken. And I don't know if you can get awestrucken with this. No, that can't be true. There must have been an opportunity for me to get awestrucken with this styling of art. So I'll blame them for not being awestrucken. The time of the game was slightly a little longer than it could have been, but I think that's more so just like getting lost and having to like find your own shit and honestly Googling and walk through stuff. There was a point in the game where I was almost done with it because I just didn't know what I was supposed to do next, and I was so tired of looking around that I was like, okay, I mean, I guess I'll be done. But then someone else was like, well, let me check real quick, and they Googled what to do next, and I was like, oh yeah. And the reason that I had not been able to go forward technically was my fault for not knowing the environment correctly. However, there was no clue or no like I don't know. I think you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you get there, because I have heard other reviews complain about this section, and I just don't want to give anything away, because if you can figure it out yourself, that is the best, and, you know, kudos to you. But if you can't, don't feel bad about it. Just Google it. So the time of the game, despite having to search for all that, I continued, and despite the game actually like breaking for a bit. There was like a scratch on it or something was not making the game work. I still went back to it, kept cleaning it, and I was like, I really want to play this game. I want to figure out. And that was after playing like 10 minutes of it. So it didn't break after that 10 minutes. I was able to play the whole game without any problems, thankfully. But something pulled me back in, and I really am happy that it did. I'm going to give it a 9 on time. The timing was good, and it could have been better had I done the right things. Storyline. It's a very interesting storyline because there's like the storyline that I kind of just gave of the description of you and your friend that have survived this ritual. That being said, it's beyond that. Although if you get you and your friend resolved, the game could end there, but that is a fifth of the game. And I've never played a game like that, I don't think, where it can be like, this is what we asked of you, but it's not really what we want you to do, I guess. And that was interesting, and you had to kind of figure that out yourself. I'll give it a 7 for creativity. That's a lie. I'm gonna give it an 8, because despite that weird creativityness, the overall storyline is still really awesome. The characters. I enjoy the characters. You already start off with someone who kind of like slept through a ritual because she wasn't feeling well, and someone who survived a ritual of, like, I don't know what kind of sacrificing entails, like stabbing or poisoning or I don't know. But he survived it, and now he's the bad guy, so it must have been pretty awful, and that's an interesting character plot. This guy's kind of boring, Johannes, but I would say he's the most boring character, and that's not saying too much, or saying a lot, because he's got a lot to him. He's like a student of religion or something, and he's helping you figure out what the ritual was and what kind of went wrong with you and Jabel. So characters, I'll give that another 8. The gameplay, I enjoy. It's fun. There's a lot of like quick slot situations that you not only can set up but are important. They're good to use. Although that just brings me to a question. I feel I got to 99.6%, 0.7% of the map was uncovered to me, and the quick slots are slots that you find as like pieces, and when you find the piece, you unlock a quick slot on that roll of quick slots that you get. You usually have the north, south, east, west, and then the in-betweeners, the 4 of those. And so as you pick up a quick slot thing, it unlocks one of those, and you can use those and put on whatever equipment you want so you can quickly use the quick slot. I have 3 of those that I didn't unlock. And with 99.7% of the map left, you're like, where the fuck would those have been, I guess. So maybe that wasn't a possibility. That's just real side tangent. I just recently played this right before this review, so I'm like trying to think of where that other 0.3 might be. But that's, I guess, kudos to the game as well. Is that going to be my word for this review? Kudos. For still making me like want to search the castle for that fucking last 3%. So what am I saying? What is that? The gameplay? Yeah, where did I go with that? Gameplay. Oh, so not only like needing to set up those quick things, but you actually do use them quite a bit. You do want to be switching from certain powers. This thing that I just got when I killed that squishy creature is a power of some sort. Different creatures have different powers. As you kill more, you get more, and you'll get a shitload that you need to rotate through. And um, and that's one of the gameplay aspects that was carried over from Castlevania. I believe I have played a Castlevania game, but it was so long ago, and I don't know which one they might be talking about for this. But I really like that attribute. There's something I didn't care for on the gameplay, and I'm trying to think of what it was. It was most likely that I feel like you kind of have to use a review. Like I said, good job, pat yourself on the back if you, like, a seriously good pat. Give yourself the best pat on the back if you don't need to use a review. There's, like, just so many. It's not just, like, locations that you have to do. You also have to do them in the right order. And that in itself is, like, I would have never done it in such a fashion, I guess. I can see maybe where they were going with it, but then I'm like, no, I would have never guessed that. So that in itself means I needed to use the tutorial, and I'm going to give that a low marking of a 6, as well as all the pieces and everything were, and all the components. I needed help to get through it. And even the help I got was still like, how the hell was I supposed to know that? It wasn't like, oh, I see that. Oh gosh. That one section I was talking about where I wasn't looking in the environment, that was totally my fault. Although, it would have been nice to get a hint or a clue to remind me of shit. But what I'm talking about here for this big low marking is like, there's no fucking way I would have been able to predict the order of shit they wanted me to do that order in to I mean, they don't even let you know that there's an order to do it, if that makes sense. Like, you don't know there's a puzzle you're doing. The difficulty of the game, because I gave it mark off for the other thing, I'll try not to put that into this aspect. I thought it was really... I don't like games that kill you too hard, and I thought it was a really good equation of if I'm at a boss and I die, and I run back in there to go fight it, it's not like I don't have to fight this boss 10 times to get through. You can maybe kill it, like, it might take 2 or 3 times of practice, but it's not super easy where you're just running through here on a speed mode, getting things killed, because I do think you'll need to take some time to level up, but it's not crazy hard where it takes like 20 attempts to kill something and you still don't know if it's possible. So difficulty, I'll give it a solid 8 on that. The control functions, well, like I was saying, the quick slots you're gonna need to use quite often, and those are easy to get to. There are some like complicated power moves you use with each type of weapon. There's like a tutorial for each of the weapons, and if you can find the tutorial, you get to use that move. And those moves are usually like left, down, right, A, B, 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 A, or something. Maybe not that complex, but pretty much that. And I don't know, I never use those, so they're not a necessity. I'm gonna give this like probably another good solid 8. The controls are really good. There's not too many complaints. I just don't think they used them all to their best that they could have. There's a lot more I could have done, I guess, with the remote. The music is awesome. I usually give pretty high scores for music, and I don't see too much of an exception here. It's harder when you're broadcasting and you have to like lower the sounds because I don't want it to echo into the mics. But I did play this one quite often off broadcasting because it's kind of a wanderer. You just wander around and pick up shit. And I did jam out to the music quite a bit. I'm pretty sure I bopped about. Let's say I'll give it an 8 again. I'm just going 8s across the board. The mood. I will give the mood a 9. Mainly because it just kept pulling me in. I still want to find out where that 0.3% is, and I'll probably be playing it later tonight to try and figure that out. At least for sure, to break this one room that I was stuck in, I opted to see if I could beat the game and hope that the castle would remain so I could go, like, fighting about, but, when you beat the castle goes. You've done it before, you'll do it again. So the mood, I gave the mood a 10. The lesson, there is no lesson. Is there a lesson? Don't do rituals. Don't sacrifice yourself. Don't fall asleep if you got something you gotta do. Be on time. Be on time for your sacrifice. Not really. I don't want to give away anything as far as storyline, and since most of the storyline is not implied within what they're trying to tell you, like I said, there's the storyline, and then there's what they really want you to do, and so what they really want you to do I can't really talk about because they're obviously hiding that for a reason. But there's a little bit of storyline, or there's a little bit of lesson within that. Very little lesson. Lessons never really get a high score. I'll just give it a 5. Like, I'm confusing myself. The overall feeling of this game is a 10. I just liked it. I liked it a lot. It's very, very fun. I still want to keep playing it, even though I'm done. That's pretty awesome. Now let me add these up real quick. Oh. That's a pretty awesome high score, divided by the number of categories. Okay, good. I wish you would not give me a fraction. So, my final scoring for Bloodstained, I want to see how this goes with other games, is an 8.7. That's one of the higher scores I've gotten for a game. I'll keep the 0.7 because my other 8 something games have their points on them, and I want to be able to compare those. Still hasn't beat A Plague's Tale, which is awesome, because A Plague's Tale is fucking awesome. But it is the second best game on here, score-wise. I don't know if I don't disagree, I guess. Because I really enjoyed it. Well, the score is the score. An 8. 8 out of 10. How about that for a vault score? Go play it yourself. Tell me what you think. I'm sure you'll also enjoy it if you like side-scrollers, if you like multiple abilities and powers and moves, if you like being able to switch out your inventories and mess around with stats, if you like dark, gritty Castlevania stylings. And if you just also like pretty comic art drawings of things, the storyline is fun, the characters are fun, the art is fun.
How did they get
And
inside?
now aren't you just intrigued?
The demons from
Alright,
the castle must have
thank you for
infested
watching.
the ship.
This is Tyrell VA signing off from the Vault in Our Stars. Wonderful playing this game. I'll get another game started up soon. I heard some buzzing in the vault. I'll have to get to right quick, and I might be back. Hopefully I will see you in the next one.